more gates. And, oh, did we actually see? Yeah, we did see Jason cancel one of his gateways and then go after a robotics facility. So he is sticking to more of his standard style here, getting that robotics facility up. We'll be interested to see if he decides to go for fast Coloxin or if he decides to just get out some Immortals, because of course Immortals are extraordinarily effective against Stalkers. Taking a look here at the unit tab, we do see it's 3 Stalkers against 1 Stalker and 1 Zealot, and a fairly significant economic lead as well right now for Google, who's going to start doing a little bit of pushing here, a little bit of pressure, finding himself hopefully in a very good spot for him. And he is actually getting beaten off here pretty badly. And it looks like Google is going to have to retreat here from this fight. But he does have that economic lead. Of course, his opponent taking that tech lead instead. And we will see here whether you want that tech lead or that economic lead. Of course, Immortals are extraordinarily effective, as I've been saying many, many times. But you want to see right here out of Jason something like a 2 Immortal timing push, which is extremely effective when fighting against another Protoss player who likes to make Stalkers. Because Stalkers, of course, get absolutely decimated by Immortals. We do see a 4th gateway as well as a robotics facility on the way for Google. So Google massing up quite a bit of production facilities. I don't really like getting the 4th gateway here. I'd rather just get the robotics facility because you can't really support this much production. So a little bit of a mistake in my opinion. We'll see though how it works out for him. Google getting that robotics bay up. We don't see that yet for Jason, and I think Jason is going to be in a better shape without the robotics bay if he goes for a more Immortal focused build, because of course Immortals will wreck Colossus and pretty much anything really. I just love Immortals. Immortals are one of my favorite units. They are extraordinarily powerful when used correctly. Jason moving out here a little bit, just at this point pretty much just poking around, getting a little bit of map control, which is what you really, really want in StarCraft 2, of course. Map control is very, very critical. Looks like Jason is actually skipping gas out of one of his geysers. I didn't even notice this until just now. I noticed that his gas count was going up very, very slowly, but he is skipping that gas geyser there. And we do see that Google has an observer out to spot. Oh, if Jason's observer walks in there, his observer could very well get taken out by the Stalkers. And the observer does get sniped. Oh man, losing that high ground is absolutely brutal for Jason, but he does have what looks like a fairly intimidating army, decent number of Stalkers, and that Immortal is very, very critical. But of course there is a Immortal of Google's here too, so looks like Google is probably going to be able to repel any kind of early attack, or any kind of attack here from Jason. Jason warping in units on the high ground and getting force field at the bottom of the ramp. Oh man, that is not something you like to see. Jason just getting rocked really there. But it looks like Jason will soon be coming in with his units, doing a little bit of pressure. But I gotta say, I like Google's position here a lot more than Jason's. Sending in that probe, scouting out, just basically sacrificing it, really. Both players in kind of like an arms race right now. It's the Cold War. They got all their armies sitting next to each other, but they don't want to push at each other yet. Jason now starting to move his units forward a little bit, loses one of his forward pounds, but he does still have another one to reinforce if he decides to go for any kind of pressure. But he is getting his second base on the way, getting up that robotics bay. And he is going to now pull back, let Google take out this forward pylon. And I got to say, in Google's position, I would like to just push forward and really end the game here, and that's exactly what Google's doing. He's sending his army forward, and I got to say, Google's army looks pretty much unstoppable compared to what Jason's got. Taking a look here at the unit tab, we see 10 Zealots, 2 Immortals, 5 Stalkers, and 3 Sentries against 5 Zealots, 1 Immortal, 9 Stalkers, and 1 Sentry. And I gotta say, Google is in commanding position here. Google loses his his Observer, but he gets great force fields, forcing back a lot of the Protoss units. And man, this is looking like an absolute slaughter fest as these units of Google start to run in and absolutely decimate the Protoss army of Jason. And yeah, this is looking like it is basically in just cleanup mode right now for Google, as his army is just going to walk in here and kill Jason. Nice little force field there, but it's just not enough at this point. Google's army is just too massive, way too big for Jason to handle. And he's just going to fall down as his army slowly works its way into his base and kills off everything. Trying to get out of the Colossus and running all of his probes off the mineral line, setting the probes into attack. Oh no. Jason does get the GG though. And that was absolutely well executed by Google. Loved his play there. Loved everything he was doing. Like I said, those 2 immortal timing pushes are extremely effective. And as we saw, with a couple of sentries backing them up and some good force fields, you can do absolutely beautiful work. Anyway, that is the end of Game 3. Google now taking the lead 2-1. We will see one more game. Jason choosing Shakuras Plateau. A little interesting choice there. Generally, as a Protoss player, you like that map against Zerg. Definitely don't know whether you want to choose that as a Protoss versus Protoss, though. But we will see what Jason's strategy is on Shakuras here in a minute. Drizzy is still missing, so Drizzy might end up missing all of the finals here. A little bit of a disappointment for him. Waiting on Google to create the map and to invite me. So hopefully we get that done soon. Hopefully we'll see Jason win this game so that we can take it to a deciding game 5. But you know what? Google's been playing absolutely stellar, and if he does win this game and takes it 3-1, he deserves a victory because he's been playing like a boss. Only one lost game so far for this whole tournament. Let them know that I am ready. Hopefully Google's ready, and it appears that Jason is ready as well. So hopefully we do see some good play here. We have seen a lot of 4-gate, a lot of pressure. Last game we did see the 3-gate robo out of both players, and those immortals, which are extremely effective, as I keep saying, against stalkers, emphasizing that point, because it is absolutely critical, as I mentioned. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I am a PGC Erratic, casting game number 4 of the Proving Grounds Open at number 4. I love synergy. Proving Grounds Open number 4 tournament. This is the finals, spawning up here in the top left position as the red Protoss is Google, who is a superhuman, amazing, great player so far. Been absolutely ridiculous. Spawning over here in the top right position as the green Protoss, we have Jason, who has also been absolutely amazing so far this tournament. Both players doing well. Sad that one of them has to lose, but of course, this is a tournament and we are gamers and we love nothing more than crushing our opponents. Anyway, so we'll see if we see the same kind of stuff from last game, 3-gate robo. It looks like Google, who had been doing pretty much the same thing throughout the whole tournament, deciding instead to start switching up the strategy after it failed against Jason. Will be interesting to see if he does go for a different strategy this time. Of course, first time he went with Archons and then 4-gate, now 3-gate robo. So he has been going with varied strategies here, so we'll see if he decides to switch it up again, or if he will go back maybe to his Archon strategy, thinking, now Jason's not expecting it, it'll be more effective, or if he might choose to once again go with a 3-gate robo or a 4-gate pressure. We will see. So far, though, both players going with fairly standard builds at the same time. We don't see any kind of real deviations about what they will be choosing yet. That will start showing up around the time the Cybernetics Core finishes. We'll see who starts to Chrono Boost their Cybernetics Core and who doesn't. Fairly typical gas timings now from both players. Jason doing his little poking at the pylon. Would have preferred actually poking at one of these probes here, because then you're more likely to get a probe to come off the line quicker and cost your opponent a little bit more resources. But we'll see what he decides to do. Google is going to now poke away at... actually, he's not going to stop Jason's probe from poking here. Just going to lay down a pylon, and this game is going to finish soon. Going to get up the Cybernetics Core very soon. Yep, Cybernetics Core on the way. We'll be interested to see if he elects to Chrono Boost it, in which case we will be expecting maybe some kind of 3-gate, 4-gate pressure, or if he elects instead to keep Chrono Boosting workers, or go after maybe a really early robotics facility, maybe a kind of 2 gateway robo. 2 robo bay would be a very interesting build. Just like get 20 immortals and just crush your opponent if they build stalkers, and get absolutely massacred if they build like 2 zealots. We do see once again both players still doing the exact same thing. It's very interesting here when both players end up doing the same thing, and you get down to the little things in the builds. Where do you get that little edge? It looks like Jason is actually choosing to get that little edge from probes, but of course Google's actually getting up another probe himself. 20 is the point where you usually cut off probes if you're going for a 4-gate, so I don't think we'll be seeing a 4-gate out of either player this game. Probably see, once again we'll see probably a 3-gate robo out of both players, or we might see Google switch back to his Archon heavy build. Lots of stalkers starting to come out here for Google. Definitely like that. Definitely love stalkers. Stalkers are incredibly powerful units. I don't know if you guys know this, but you can actually get to Diamond League by making nothing but stalkers. Like literally, just 4-gate, lots of stalkers, and you will make it to Diamond. Of course, you could also make it to Grand Masters, from what I'm told, by building nothing but cannons, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, both players doing fairly the same thing. Looks like there's going to be a slight stalker edge for Google, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Jason actually choosing to make a sentry here while his opponent's making a stalker. I prefer to get a sentry involved in the mix around this time. You definitely want to have a decent amount of energy because those force fields with those guardian shields can be very important. But Google poking around here now with his 3 stalkers, and he's actually leaving one. Oh no, it's actually a probe he's leaving here at the Xel'Naga Tower. Definitely doesn't want to get involved in any kind of fight with these stalkers with Jason because he will lose his stalkers. If he had walked up that ramp just a little bit, he might have ended up getting force field in and losing all of those stalkers. But of course, he's too good for that. He gets his stuff away, and we do see that Jason is now working on a robotics facility. While we see 3-gate Robo coming up for Google, both players once again sticking with the same build from last time, this 3-gate Robo build, and we will see if we end up with the same result. The 2 gates for Google are actually slightly delayed, a little bit behind the ones for Jason, so very curious as to why that happened. It looks like he actually got out his assimilator much quicker than Jason did because he's sitting on a lot of gas, so that could just be the difference in a single sentry. Oh, actually Google has 4 gates. I didn't even notice. He's got a 4-gate Robo. Man, I don't know what Google's planning here. I don't like these 4-gate Robo builds personally, but we will see if Google is able to execute it properly and do massive amounts of damage. It's always possible. You never know with Google. Get up that robotics bay now. Oh, and he's sitting on 400 resources. No doubt wants to expand here fairly soon. Either that or just warp in tons and tons of zealots, which is what he's doing. So we do have a lot of zealots now for Google and that robotics bay. Both players getting the robotics bay up. Of course, Google does have one more gateway than his opponent, so we'll see. You can't really support that many gateways, but we'll see if that extra gateway is able to make any kind of difference, either in a little bit of extra production when it matters most, or just in actually having lost those minerals to having to build a gateway with them. And we'll see if those lack of minerals will put Google behind. But of course, both players still in fairly similar positions, like I said. Jason getting his Colossus started just slightly ahead of Google's, but Google is getting his up now. Both players, I believe, chrono boosting them out. Taking a look over here, yep, both players chrono boosting out those stalkers, building up those heavy zealot counts. We'll be interested to see if either player decides to expand fairly soon. Both players, of course, starting to build up a lot of money. Yep, looks like Google is going to expand. Google, make me look smart. Make me look smart, Google. Okay, Google's making me look like a stupid idiot, I guess, by not expanding. Thank you, Google, for making me look dumb on the stream. Whereas Jason over here, warping in more zealots of his own, getting Coloxin out, have another one queued up, and looks like Google's got a observer. So, you know, this is a point in a Protoss versus Protoss match that gets interesting. A lot of times, whoever builds the first observer is the one who loses, because you end up falling behind slightly in the Colossus count, and that can easily transition into a loss. Taking a look at the unit count, though, we see that Google is slightly ahead in probes, has 32 to 31. Of course, that isn't really much of a difference at all. But we do see that they're both tied in Zealots, tied in Colossus, almost tied in Stalker. So Google does have a very, very slight edge here, and we will see if that slight edge is enough to win him the game. But of course, Jason now getting up his expansion, starting it up, and you know, Google's either going to need to attack soon or expand himself, otherwise he's going to start to fall behind economically, and whenever you fall behind economically, it is extremely difficult to get back ahead. But Google's army is very big. That is a lot of zealots, and he is starting to move out now. He does have proxy pylons pretty much everywhere. He does cancel the one in the natural, because of course he's not going to be able to keep it alive when this whole army comes at it. We'll be interested to see here if this extended thermal lance finishes in time. It does have 50 more seconds left, so it might not finish in time, and if it doesn't, that could be the difference right there. But of course, he is reinforcing. He's going to have 3 Colossus against 2, and that's a lot of Colossus. We'll be very interested to see here who wins this fight. I gotta say, Google is definitely my favorite to win the fight. The Coloxian for Jason start to pick away at these Zealots. One of them on the high ground going to pick away more at the Zealots here. And we are seeing that